Everybody. I'm James, and welcome back to Storytime with James. Make sure you like, subscribe, and leave me a comment if you like. All right, this one's called The Cattens. I Got Played. Yes, yes. Man, let me tell y'all a story about how I got played by some cattens, okay? Cattens is like a young cat, a young cat. But he's still a kitten, but he's becoming a cat. Okay? So one day I went out, was cutting my grass in the front. Then I was cutting the side of the house, and all of a sudden, when I got to a patch of grass right here, there was kittens and a mama cat laying down, and they were drinking her milk. So I stood there and looked at them. I said, "Goodness gracious, what? How am I gonna cut around them? I'm gonna shoo them away or what? You know?" So I let them go on ahead and stay there and finish drinking milk. So after that, I saw them again the next day. The next day, they was on my front porch, and the mama was there, and they was drinking her milk. So
Okay.
I
You
didn't
got
bother them. I didn't bother them. So weeks later, like a couple of weeks later, maybe 1 week later, they became like little young cats. Okay, so it was 4 or 5 of them. So I took it upon myself to start feeding them, because they look kind of thin. So I said, man, they not eating enough. I know their mama would go and
Hey, Miss
catch
Daffodil.
cat catch
Hey. How y'all
maybe
doing?
mice and stuff like
Yes,
that,
I just getting
but it
home.
wasn't enough for them. So I just helped them out. So I start uh, putting like chicken and stuff like that, cutting chicken up and putting it in a bowl and letting them eat that. So after so long, their mama their mama stopped feeding them. She stopped coming around. And later on, I discovered that the mama had other babies. She just had another litter. So these cats, she left them alone, and they wouldn't leave because I was feeding them. So so I took it upon myself to feed them every day. I would feed them. I would come from work, and they would be waiting on me. All 4 or 5 of them. They would be waiting on me. So I started feeding them more. So then finally I broke down and bought a big bag of cat food. And then I poured it in the bowl, and I would add milk to it so it could soften it up a little bit. And then they started eating. So after that, I I took a liking to one cat, but I don't like cats. Actually, I don't like cats. Okay, so I will never take one in the house. But this one was kind of special. You know, he let me touch him because they were feral cats. They were wild cats. But this cat came to me, would rub against me, and let me rub his head and everything. So I named it
It's here. Yeah.
Daffodil.
Hey, Daffodil.
Daffodil, like the flower. So after a
Hey, Miss
while,
Daffodil.
Daffodil started getting
Hey.
real
How y'all
friendly with me,
doing?
and then the other
Yes, I
cats
just getting
tried to
home.
be
I
friends,
just
but
getting home.
they
Oh,
wasn't like
look at,
Daffodil.
they're
They
coming
wasn't
out now.
affectionate like Daffodil was. So after so long, then one day I started feeding them. One day I came home to feed them, and they came to my front door, and then when I opened the door, I was getting ready to come out. They all rushed the compound.
Here.
They
Get.
came. They rushed inside my house, and I
Come
said,
on out of
"Get
there.
out of
Come
here! Get out of
out
here!"
of
I
there.
had to get them out of
Get
there.
out of here. Get out.
But I still fed them. But then I started getting wary of them. I start getting wary of them, because I don't want them to be in my house like that. And then when they was running behind couches and everything, trying to get away when they got in the house. So I shoot them all out, got them all out the house. Then I put food in a bowl and fed them all, and then I was
Man,
able
they
to
get
count
me.
them, and I saw that they was all
Crazy.
out. Man, it's crazy. So after that happened, I started thinking, look, I better stop feeding them. I better stop feeding them, because they're getting too rambunctious now.
Because
They're
they
coming in the house
very
now.
rambunctious.
So one day, because one day I
I
could
don't like them
be
coming
out
in
in the
my
yard
house.
doing something or something like that and have the door halfway open and they can get inside
There's
the
the daddy
house.
right there.
So I said,
He
I'm gonna
coming to take
start
a
not feeding them.
few bites.
So the next day I
Yeah,
didn't put
yeah,
no
but
food
I
out,
found out they eating
and
somewhere
I
else.
didn't see them. They didn't
Somebody
come
else is
around.
feeding them too.
So I
One of
said,
my neighbors.
what in the world?
So
Where's the cats? The Cattens. Where'd they go? So I was thinking, what happened? What could happen to them? Then I discovered my neighbor. My neighbor was feeding them from her back porch. She putting food out there, and they were going out. They was eating the whole time. They was eating twice. They was eating at my house and then eating at her house. So I said, man, look, I got to. So I went to my neighbor. I told my neighbor, I said, what's up? What's up? Those kittens come to your house? She said, "Oh yeah, they've been coming to my house. They came to my house, and I feed them, stuff like that. So I figured it out then. So I said, man, they played me. They played me. I was thinking these cats hadn't ate nothing, all day and stuff like that. But so I gave her the whole bag. It was a big bag, about that big. I gave her the bag of cat food, and I told her, I said, hey, look. Here, can I give you this so you can feed them? She said, "Oh, thank you." I said, "Yeah, yeah. They, look, you can feed them and just feed them, and they don't have to come over here no more. They don't have to come over here no more." Yeah. So, but Daffodil would still come over to the house. She would still come over, and I would feed her, but I wouldn't feed the rest of them. Then finally, I stopped feeding Daffodil too. So, man, animals can play you too. Dogs can do that too. Like a stray dog or something like that. If you think you're the one saving his life, he's being saved by many other people. He goes to many other people, beg for food, and they feed him. They feed him good. So the best thing to do is not to feed them if you're not going to keep continuously feeding them, because they'll never leave. They'll never leave. They'll always be at your doorstep, you know, begging for food, you know. But these cats, they had me, man. They got me. But I wonder what happened to Daffodil. Oh wait, I did see Daffodil. After like 2 months after I started feeding them, I saw Daffodil again, and Daffodil was pregnant. So she's still living. I don't know what happened to the other ones, but I did my part. I catch your act later. You know, did my part. Yes. So that's the story of the Cattens. But I, I just hope that they realize that all human beings are not cruel. You know, are not cruel. That all human beings won't shoot them away and stuff like that. So yeah, because I love animals though. You know, I just don't keep them in my house no more. I used to keep every animal you can name of, but I don't keep animals anymore. You know, that's just me. Maybe you do something different, but I don't like animals. I don't like pets in my house. All right, you guys. Make sure you like, subscribe, and leave me a comment if you like. And hit that bell notification. Hit that bell notification so that you know every time I drop another video. And share, share, share. Share my videos with your family. Share my videos with your friends. Share my videos with your loved ones. And even share it with your enemies. Peace. Adios. Salamat.